Hello, everybody. This is Tabang Manenge, real estate agent from Hazemark. So today here we want to talk about the impact of the repo rate on the property market. So to help me understand this impact on the property market, I have a guest, and then he will just introduce himself before we can start with analyzing this impact.
Good evening to you, Tabang, and to your viewers. This is Umpulu Sachivase, and I am an individual or independent economic researcher.
Okay, so we need people like you to clarify for us, because everybody's making a big deal that there's been a repo rate cut. So what does this mean, or what is this repo rate?
All right, so repo rate is basically the rate which is used by the Reserve Bank to charge the commercial banks when they borrow money to them. Meaning that if they are saying that there is a cut in the repo rate, it simply means that the Reserve Bank will be charging the commercial banks less interest when it borrow them money.
Okay, so what is the repo rate at the moment?
The current repo rate is standing at 4.25.
What was it before?
Before the 15th of April, when the members of monetary policy decided to cut the repo rate by 100 basis points, or 1 percentage point, it was 5.25.
Okay, so if now the bank is charging, the Reserve Bank is charging less money to the bank, does this affect the money they charge us? Does it have an impact on the prime or the interest rate?
Definitely. Remember that the Reserve Bank is directly linked to the prime lending rate, which is used by the commercial bank to charge its clients. So before they decrease the repo rate from 5.25 to 4.25, the previous prime lending rate was sitting at 7.75, and it went down to it was sitting at 8.75, and it went down to 7.75, meaning that for us, the clients who are being charged by the commercial banks, we will be paying less due to the reduction in the repo rate.
Okay, great news. So
you can proceed, Tabang.
Okay, so is there any relationship that this repo rate has with the inflation?
Definitely, there is a relationship between the repo rate and the inflation, because remember that inflation is the general increase in the price of goods. Meaning that if ever there is an increment in the repo rate, we expect that there will be increment in the general in all the goods, and then there will also be increment in the producer prices. Why do I say that? Because when the repo rate tend to charge the commercial banks more, it means that commercial banks will also charge their clients more. Meaning that if ever there are firms and all different forms of producers who's got credits with the commercial banks, they will be paying more to their credits, meaning that they will, for them to service their credits, they will have to charge more in the goods that they sell. And that simply means that there will be an increment in the inflation. So the Reserve Bank is also a tool which is used by the the repo rate is also a tool which is used by the Reserve Bank to control the inflation.
Okay. So
meaning that, just elaborate further, if there is a high inflation, maybe because of the too much demand, of which the supply is unable to meet the demand. Maybe there's inflation because of that. Maybe because goods are very cheap, people are buying, therefore there's high demand, which lead to demand push inflation. It simply means that the Reserve Bank can curb that inflation, or can reduce that inflation, or can cut the demand of goods by increasing their repo rate, so that they can be people can reduce their spending.
Okay, so you spoke about the increase in the goods and the services, which is the inflation. But what actually determines this increase in the goods and the services?
So there are different things which determine this increase in the goods and services, or this general price increase, or inflation per se. So inflation is determined by different things in the economy. Like I said, I've just mentioned previously that there's something which is called demand push inflation. That is the inflation of which people are demanding too much, of which the supplier cannot be able to supply. Therefore, supplier won't have a choice but then to increase their goods. And if there is an increment of goods in generally, that is referred to as inflation. The other thing which can cause the increase in the inflation is the increase in the price of oil. Remember that oil is one of the major determinants in an economy. When we talk about the firms or the plants and the factories, when they're producing their stuff at the site, they use oil. Therefore, when we talk about the production or delivery of goods from one place to the other, oil is the determining factor, meaning that if there is an increase in the price of oil, we expect that producers will spend more for them to produce their goods. There will be an increase in the producer prices, and the increase in the producer prices will lead to the increase in the consumer prices, and the increase in the consumer prices is what we call inflation.
Yeah, nicely said. Okay, so I hear all this fancy word, but I want to understand, or maybe is a viewer sitting at home, you want to understand what is really the impact to him. Let's say if that person is a current homeowner, what does this mean to him or her?
Your question is very critical and constructive. So this simply means, if we are talking about the repo rate being cut, what does it have? What is the impact on the current homeowner who is sitting at home somewhere now? So this is a good news to the current homeowner, since they will be paying less when it comes to the interest. As I did mention that the repo rate is directly linked to the prime lending rate, which is used by the commercial banks to charge its clients. Meaning that if ever the prime lending rate goes down, it simply means that your personal interest rate that which is being used on your home loan will also go down. What does that mean? To clarify further or to elaborate further, it simply means that you will be paying less interest, and as well as the less monthly installment. Remember that when this repo rate goes down, the prime lending rate goes down, and your installment gets adjusted right away. If it goes down, it means that your installment will also goes down, meaning that you will be paying less.
Okay, so you speak of paying less monthly installments. So what is more advisable for the current homeowners to do in terms of, do they continue to pay the amount they've been paying all along, which will be more than what the minimum installment that will be requested from the bank, or do they just go on and continue to pay what the bank is requesting them to do? What is more advisable? What is more beneficial for the current homeowners?
Critical question indeed. I would like to answer your question this way, that remember that home loan is something of which it's a long-term loan. It comes with you can finish it in a period of 10 years. Sometimes can even take more than that, depending on how you are paying it back. So one thing which delay people from settling their home loans is something which is called interest. Because when you pay your monthly installment, it is divided into the two parts. The other part of it will go to the interest, and the other part of it will go to the capital. If I can clarify further or delineate further, at the first years of your home loans, you pay more to the interest. At the first years of your home loan is more like a straight line graph with a positive slope, meaning that about 19-something% of your installment will be going to the interest, and only remaining 5 or 2% will be going to the capital, meaning that you will be paying more to the interest. Therefore, if ever there's something like this which give you a chance to pay less on your home loan, if you are capable of paying more, it's better for you to continue with your previous installment, or to even pay more than that, so that you can reduce your interest as much, so that you can be able to finish your home loan quicker. Remember that if you pay more, it means that you will be able to reduce your balance quicker. The lower the balance, the lower the interest to pay. The lower the interest to pay, the quicker you settle your home loan. So the interest on your home loan is calculated in this way. The interest is calculated based on your balance, multiplied by your interest, divided by the number of days in the year. Meaning that if you can reduce your balance as soon as possible, it means that the interest that you'll be paying will be lesser. If you're paying lesser interest on your home loan, it means the capital that you will be paying will be more. And if you're paying more capital to your home loan, it means you will settle it quicker.
Great stuff. So, like for people that actually want to enter the property market, what does this mean to them? Like if I want to buy the property maybe in the near future, what does this mean to me?
All right. The repo rate, the prime lending rate currently is very low, meaning that it will be very cheap to have a home loan, since you will be paying more. You'll be paying less, I mean to say. Therefore, if ever you want to embark in the process of being a homeowner or buying a home, this is the best time for you to do that. Because in the meanwhile, because of this lower repo rate, remember that the reason why the Reserve Bank increased the repo rate is so that they can stimulate the demand in the economy, and so that they can also stimulate the consumer spending, so that the GDP can still can keep going and can increase by any chance. Although that is not anticipated at all. Therefore, if you want to be a homeowner, it is very much advisable, because there is increase in the money circulation, because the Reserve Bank has just introduced the expansionary monetary policy. Therefore, that simply means that the commercial banks will also be lenient when they grant their clients the bonds, or whoever who is applying for their bonds and their home loans. They'll be very lenient. Therefore, if you've got a good credit record, and you are also, but they can see from your other credits that you're a good payer, therefore this is the best time. If ever you've got a stable job, go for it. I can advise you to go for it and apply for it.
Okay, so but you are saying that now I will pay less, né? But I'm quite sure, because there's been so much changes of the repo rate and the interest rate going down this year, at some point we have to go back to where we were, or even much further than where we were. So what now is the benefit for me to buy now, and then it goes back again and I still pay more, so then I don't save really much? Or is there something that I can do to make sure that I constantly pay the interest rate that I'm paying now?
I think proceed, Tawan.
What I'm basically trying to ask is, what happens when the interest rate increases again? Won't I be in risk of losing my home, because I will not be able to afford that, because I'm buying now on the basis that I can actually afford the current interest rate?
You always ask critical questions. So that's a critical question one, and it is also very much constructive. So like I said, it is a good time. This is the perfect time for you to embark in the journey of buying yourself a home. So it's true that if you buy your home now and they increase the repo rate, your interest rate will also increase. Your personal interest rate will also increase. However, there is a way to avoid that. You can fix the interest rate. You can fix the interest rate for different terms. You can fix your interest rate either for 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, and the longest that you can fix it for is 5 years, which is 60 months. But then one thing that you must understand before you fix the interest rate is that you cannot be able to fix your current personal interest rate. Meaning that each and every time when you fix your interest rate, it will always be obvious, or it will always be certain that your interest rate will go up. You won't be able to fix it to where it is at the moment. It will always go up based on the market, on the market conditions, and also based on the term that you're fixing it for. The longer the term, the higher the interest rate you can fix.
Okay, great stuff then. Then all I'm hearing from you is that it's good news for buyers, and also it's good news for people that are selling their home. But maybe you can just clarify more, what is the benefit for the people that are actually, they want to sell their home in the near future? What can you say to them? What is the impact of this?
So, although because of this lockdown and these economic challenges, these dire economic challenges that we're facing, I mean, our economy is at the downswing at the moment. The unemployment is increasing; it's ridiculously increasing. In a second, like everything is just a mess in our economy. A lot of people are losing their jobs, meaning that it won't be that easy for you to sell a property. But then meanwhile, it's also a good time for you to sell a property. Why do I say that? Because like I said, the banks will be very lenient to grant home loans to the people who are applying for the home loans. Meaning that if people are being granted the home loans, it will also be easy for you to be able to sell a property, since people will be having capital to buy your property. Therefore, if ever you intend to sell a property, I can advise you to go for it without any doubt.
So now you you just said it's a good time, and okay.
It's always advisable to touch both sides. It doesn't mean that people are not, when people are losing their jobs, there are still people who are having stable jobs. There are still essential workers who are looking for homes. Those people, you can be lucky, and one of those essential workers can be able to be the one who can be able to purchase a home.
Okay. So you've talked about good time for sellers. You spoke about good time for people that actually want to buy at this time. But what about investors that are actually buying rental incomes to rent out for other people to have homes that actually cannot really afford to pay mortgage? What do you say to investors? Is this the good time for them to buy properties and rent them out?
So, like I said, our economy is currently at the downswing. Therefore, when we talk about the economy which is at the downswing, we talk about the contraction in the gross domestic product. And when we talk about the rentals and investments in terms of property, like those people who own the real estate property, they are also in the same situation. Like when we say that the economy is at the downfall, they are also in the downfall. Therefore, why do I say that? Because a lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of people are not working full hours, meaning that they are not getting paid enough salary. Therefore, they are very struggling to pay their rentals. A lot of landlords are already experiencing those kind of problems with their tenants who are unable to pay them rent at all. Some of them are only able to pay half. Therefore, if ever you intend to purchase a property for rental or to purchase a property for investment, this is not actually a good time, or else maybe you just want to purchase a property and leave it like that without doing anything at all with it. But then if ever you want to buy it and rent it out, either for residential purposes or either for commercial purposes, this is not a good time at all, because people are losing their job and the economy is not doing it well at all. Therefore, you can purchase the property and you can run loss right away, because you won't be able to go to accumulate any form of rent.
Okay. So do you have any other advices that you can give to our people or our consumers who want to enter into debt or buy any other form of debt or credit at this time?
All right. I definitely have something to say to our consumers, to our people out there, that this is the trying times or the hard times that we're living in because of this nationwide lockdown. Everything is just a mess. Our economy is not doing well at all. Life is very tough. Our brothers out there, our brothers and sisters. But then in the meantime, we can see that our central bank, which is the Reserve Bank, is trying by all means to increase the demand, to keep to stimulate the demand, to keep our economy going. We saw that when they decreased their repo rate, and we also saw that when they also did some adjustments on the fiscal policies. Therefore, I can encourage all of you who's got stable salaries to manage your salaries as better as you can. We can see that since you'll be paying less on your interest on your credits. You'll be paying less interest. You'll be paying less installments, meaning that you'll still have some money remaining in your hand. And in the meantime, you can also qualify for a lot of credits. If it's not necessary for you to apply for a credit, if it's not necessary for you to engage in credits or in debts, please avoid that as much as you can. Just save that money or use that money which is remaining, because even the petrol price is low, meaning that we still you are having a lot of money in your hand. Just try by all means to save that money, or try by all means to use that money to settle your debts, so that by the time when all the things are over, you know that you're in good financial standing. Because all those small credits that you can just say that I'm just making a small credits and I'll be able to finish it, they can always catch up with us in future. They can always delay us. Remember that if we are not doing well in our finances, it means that our economy is also not doing well. Therefore, I just advise our consumers to be very conscious when it comes to their spendings, so that we can be able to do well during these trial times and also after these trial times.
Wow. All I can say to add to that is, remember guys, to be in charge of your finances. Don't let your finances be in charge of you, otherwise you lose your freedom.